So we all got this thing known as a fight or flight system. And what's crazy is that we don't even realize that it's being activated multiple times throughout the day. But what's even more crazy is that whenever this does happen and we're just unaware of it, the decision that's being made in that moment in time, whether it be fight or flight, is a direct result of our past experiences. That means that our past is controlling what our life is right now and what our life is gonna be. And I don't know about you, but I'm not trying to let that happen. I'm not trying to be a victim to my past and have that control everything. And I know anyone in their right mind would say the same thing. So that's why I'm making this video. I want to share with you guys the 2 things that I do in my morning routine that basically allow me to break through that. But before I even get into that, you got to understand what's happening here. All right, we are creatures of observation. When we were born into this world, we were just observing everything. This means that we were just taking in all this information, all the experiences we had. It's us taking in this information. And as we take in more information, our mind is literally storing all this information and processing it. Basically saying, okay, we can't go this far. We can't do this. We can't say this. We can't act this way because we don't know what's on the other side. All right, we don't know if it's safe. And that's what the mind is trying to do. It's trying to keep you alive. It's trying to keep you safe. There's nothing wrong with that, but you have to understand it and see it for what it is in order to break free from that and live the life that you want to live. All right, so understand that when the mind sets these boundaries, it's because of something that happened in your life. It's because of something that you took in at that point in time and your mind processed it and said, okay, we have to place a boundary right here. We can't go past this boundary. Anytime you start nearing this boundary, what you're gonna begin to feel is resistance. Resistance is a key indicator that you're on the right path, that you're doing the right thing. You gotta keep going in that direction. All right, and then the closer you get, the more resistance you're gonna feel up until a point where the body literally has a fight or flight response. The mind literally, it tries everything it can to try to pull you back and keep you safe, that when it sees you going past a certain point and says, all right, we have to go into different measures here. We have to activate the fight or flight response to create an experience so strong within him that it'll bring him back to this safe environment, this safe zone, this safe area, whatever it is that you want to call it. All right. Once you see that for what it is, you understand why it is that you feel resistance during certain points throughout your life, throughout your day. Why it is that, like, when you feel that resistance and you keep going in that path, you feel this sensation that's very strong, that it literally overpowers you. That is the fight or flight response. All right, now the 2 things that I do in the morning routine, very simple. The first one is a cold shower. Many of you have heard about it. I have 2 videos on it if you want to go check those out. But anyways, what a cold shower is doing is it's literally invoking a fight or flight response right there. In real time, you're gonna see everything happen right before your eyes. Before you get into that cold shower, your mind is automatically gonna start thinking all these things. Oh, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this. Cold water, we might get sick. Or no, it doesn't seem like a good idea. I'm feeling kind of down. I didn't get much sleep last night. It's not the right, I don't have time for that. Whatever it is that your mind throws at you, that is resistance. And then the thing about a cold shower is that the moment you get under there and you just turn that cold water right on, you don't think, you just turn that cold water on. There's no nearing this boundary that the mind puts, right? At that point in time, you literally just teleported to the boundary and now the body is just automatically having a fight or flight response. It's saying, oh, we gotta bring him back. This is it, we've gone too far, we gotta bring him back. And within that moment, within that, I'd say like maybe 15, 30 seconds, the beginning, you're having this fight or flight reaction. Your mind, everything inside of you is wanting to get out of this water because of your old experiences. Everything that you went through in your past that basically determined cold water as not being safe is trying to make you get out of this environment, out of this experience. But if you just stay in the cold water for a little bit, you will literally change the information that your mind has. Your mind will stop having that boundary there. Your mind will stop seeing as, oh, it's not dangerous. It's still safe. We can be in the cold water and still be all right. So then you stop having this resistance when it comes to that. All right, now the reason why that's so important, one, because it's hard. It's not easy. Nobody wants to do a cold shower. It's downright one of the hardest things to do right when you wake up. But two, because you're making yourself feel the resistance, go through the fight or flight response and be able to fight through that, you are becoming a creator. You are literally gaining control over this unconscious reaction versus being a victim. Now the second thing is basically a movement practice. Now you can do anything for movement, because anything that involves movement basically brings more awareness into your body. But one that I'm gonna go ahead and say has helped me the most is shadowboxing. Now a lot of you know what shadowboxing is. It's basically where you're reenacting a fight. If for those that you don't know what shadowboxing is, you're reenacting a fight as if you were actually fighting someone. It feels awkward, it feels weird at first, but the more you do it, the more you can really visualize someone in front of you, the better it gets, and the more, I guess you could say, the more you derive from the practice, right? You see, shadowboxing is a primitive movement pattern. So if you're reenacting as if you're in a fight, your body is literally taking all of its awareness, taking it out of your head and putting it into your body, which sounds weird because you're visualizing as if you were actually fighting, but it brings your awareness more so into your body. And you know, when you're in your head, when you're thinking too much, it's not a bad thing, but it tends to disconnect you from your body. And if you're having a fight or flight response, you want to be connected to your body. You want to know what's going on within your body if you're actually having that, because that's just information letting you know which path to take. If you're not aware of it, you can't do better. If you don't know, if you're ignorant to the fact, ignorant is not bliss in this case. All right? If you don't know that you're having the experience, it's going to control you. If you're aware, you can control it. You can get past it. All right. Now, those are the two practices that have truly done the most in my life in terms of being able to be aware of the resistance, being able to get past it, being able to get past the fight or flight responses, and just being able to control my life and stop being a victim. So instead of being a victim, it's allowed me to become a warrior. And I feel like we're all warriors. It's just a matter of tapping into it. You know, and the way that I came across all this is that when I was a kid, you know, I went through a lot. I came from Puerto Rico maybe around like 4 years old, and I didn't know much English or Spanish. So when I was put in pre-kinder and kindergarten, I couldn't really communicate with all the other kids, and all the other kids were laughing. Maybe they were laughing at me, maybe they weren't, I don't know. But at that point in time, when I seen that, it really put all this, I can't even explain it. It just made me very closed off. It made me feel as though everything was a threat. And you know, growing up, I had many experiences where it's like, anytime I was meeting someone new, or anytime someone was laughing, or anytime I would see an attractive girl, or just most experiences, it's just like I would close off. I would unconsciously have a fight or flight response, and my body would choose flight because flight would mean retreat, and that would close off. It would close me off to where I wouldn't experience any pain, I wouldn't experience any suffering. But in turn, I was experiencing pain and suffering because I was not living life. And then when I started becoming more aware of this, I started becoming aware of the resistance that I would feel whenever I would basically want to go and talk to someone new, or talk to a girl that I find really attractive, or just do things where supposedly it's just making me feel as if I'm like not in a safe place, like out of my comfort zone. And the more that I did that, the more that I realized that, damn, this has really been in control of my life up until this point. And once I started doing those two practices, game changer. That's all I gotta say. Game changer. Your life is worlds different when you're the one that's in control versus you being at the mercy of all your past experiences. It's literally like a dog wagging its tail and its whole body being controlled by its tail wagging. I mean, it's as simple as that. But that's pretty much it. That's all I have for you guys. I do hope that it helps in one way, shape, or form. And before I end this video off, I did want to shout out How to Beast. If you guys haven't checked out his videos, his content, his channel, by all means, get over there. This man is dope. His content is amazing. He actually made a video on his morning routine a few weeks back, which is around the time that I was thinking myself to create this video. But, you know, I'm not going to make any excuses here. I just didn't do it. And I watched his video, great stuff. And he actually pointed out one of the best things that I completely forgot about, which is tackling the hardest thing right after you're done with your morning routine. Because a lot of times we want to do the easiest things and then work our way to the hardest things, but it's just us putting it off so we don't have to do it. So I'm real grateful that he brought my awareness back to that. So big ups to him, shout out to him. Like I said, if you're not following him, go ahead, do so. Check out his stuff, great stuff. But that's it, y'all. That's all I have. I'm glad to be back. If you guys want to get way deeper into this content and help support the channel at the same time, consider becoming a Patreon. I do it over there. I'm telling y'all, I do it. You gotta check it out for yourself though, if that's something that you're interested in. I'm gonna leave a link down in the description box below. And if you're ever trying to get in contact with me for some personal stuff or for mentoring or coaching, by all means, hit me up on Instagram or hit me up on my email. I'm gonna leave everything in the description box down below. And with that being said, remember y'all that the time is now.